My name is Martine Green-Rogers, and I am the research dramaturg on Hannah and the Dread Gazebo, which is a world premiere at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival by Ji Hae Park. So I've had a long-term relationship with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. I had this moment where I realized it's actually been 10 years since I first showed up on OSF's campus, which is both frightening and amazing at the same time. This past summer, I spent about 3 weeks in South Korea and Taiwan. While I was in South Korea, I got a phone call from Louis Douthit, who's the former director of literary management and dramaturgy. And I was like, hey, Louis, what's going on? And she's like, so where are you? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm in South Korea right now. And then the phone just got quiet. And then there was this moment of collective, oh, that's funny because I was just calling you to ask if you'd be interested in doing some research dramaturgy for me for Hannah and the Dread Gazebo, which is set in South Korea. So in general, a research dramaturg, their main focus or purpose is to find out whatever information people need in the room, which is a little different from sort of dramaturgy outside of that. Not that dramaturgs maybe potentially outside of here don't do a little bit of that or a lot of that anyway, but especially here at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, like it's helpful to sometimes just have someone whose sole job is to do that research so that the other dramaturgs on the project can really look at the evolution of the story, you know, really pay more attention to script issues, especially on a new play like Hannah, and sort of function in other ways as opposed to having to be the person to also run out of the room and figure out where, you know, if someone needs a map of something or wants to know like what is the distance between like this subway station and this subway station on the Seoul Korea line, that kind of stuff. There's just someone who's dedicated to that, so then the other dramaturg can focus on other more pressing things. So my job is really just to have fun digging into a country and a culture that I was already digging into. The play is about family, and in some ways what happens when families are international, how they are both connected and disconnected at the same time, and especially when there's a cultural aspect to it. For example, part of the play centers around the fact that we have this main character, Hannah, who is South Korean, but South Korean in a very Americanized sense. She's, you know, raised in the U.S., is, you know, gone to school in the U.S., spent most of her time in the U.S., and therefore, you know, does not even know Korean. So then the day that she gets this package in the mail from her grandmother, it's written in a language that she has to go down the street to her laundry person to get to even read to her so she can find out what's going on. One of the things that's lovely about it is it celebrates both cultural difference, but then also celebrates this idea how there are just some things that despite cultural differences don't change, like how families, how families relate to one another. You know, no matter what culture you're in, there is that bond of family that you cannot deny as much as one may want to, or, you know, whatever. So I think there's that. So there's something very human about this play. And I think also in a time when a lot of us are trying to figure out like who we are, you know, how do we navigate the world in general, we really take this journey with Hannah in terms of like rediscovering, you know, who she is and how much of that is rooted in a culture that she wasn't necessarily raised in a country that she was not raised in, how much of that is still at the heart of her being, whether she was paying like constant tribute to that or not. I think one of the things that's amazing about a play like this is how much it creates a sense of family in a room because of the type of play that it is. It's kind of hard not to be connected to everyone in the room when you're exploring this idea of connection via family. And I think one of the fun things that we've discovered in the play in the course of this process thus far is really sort of digging into the heart of how do we make connection, feeling out the humanity in everyone, no matter what their actions are. It never surprises me how relevant what we do in these rehearsal halls and on our stages on a regular basis. It's just always relevant. You can always find a connection, which is why I always think what we do is so amazing as artists.